It's not moving. It's not moving.
Here it is.
The switch is on the side, baby. Yeah. That's right. Breaking in with some Too Short tonight. What's going on, folks? We are back in full effect on the Fish Life podcast. We've been on a little break. We'll explain to you why. We got a lot going on tonight. We're going to talk to you guys. Tournament season's here, Chris.
It is here.
It's already started. We'll explain what we mean by that. We'll also preview the first major tournaments of the year that are coming up faster than you think they are. And, there's tackle shows going on. And I think with tournament season being here, we've taken a couple of road trips already here not too long ago. And some of which we've documented. Actually, both of which we've documented. And I got to say, as far as traveling the tournaments go, sometimes when you travel tournaments, you get somebody to go fish a tournament with you or go on a fishing trip, buddy's trip with you, and you drive halfway across the state, 7, 8, 9 hours, whatever. And sometimes those people don't work out. You just ready to choke them by the time it's over. And with a guy as grumpy as me, more often than not, I'm ready to get rid of that person. But I do believe that I found the best travel partner for getting on the road and taking fishing trips on the road or tournaments on the road. I think I've got the all-time world champion travel partner.
Can I guess?
We're going to talk about why I think that. And, you're going to be able to ask her anything. Anything.
Any and everything.
Anything? Anything.
$50 million.
Anything.
Who do you think you're kidding at?
So we are back. We're back. The Fish Life Podcast is back. Chris, we need to say the hellos and how you doing and all that good stuff. Before we do, rise up a little bit. Sit up in your chair a little bit. Okay. All right, sit back down. Where the hell have you been?
I had COVID again.
COVID again. The new COVID.
That's right.
I hate to tell you all this. I'm so hard-headed I didn't go get tested. I for sure had it too.
I'm pretty sure I got it from you.
You probably did get it. We got it from West Texas when we were at OHIV because we got sick when we got back. So if any of you guys that went to OHIV with us got sick when you got back, I don't know who brought it, but one of y'all brought it.
I called Billy today and asked him something about a scheduling question. And then we get done with that. I said, we can talk about it more tonight. And he goes, you coming tonight? And I said, yeah. And he said, you not tested negative?
When's the last time you were sick?
And I was like, bro, I got it from you. I'm
good. Fair point. So that being said, yes, Chris has been out with COVID, and we have been off the air with the holidays and my kids. I need this guy to help me run these shows and plan them, so we have not been doing those. We apologize for that, but hey, man, as you guys get in here tonight, if you could, please do hit the thumbs up for the return of the Fish Life Podcast. Don't forget, guys, this is, and I got to imagine always will be, because I don't know how you can get underneath this. This will always be the lowest budget, actually live.
That's right.
Fishing podcast, because it don't get no cheaper than what we got going on here with our old busted up iPhone and our little plastic cabinet that it sits on with a picture frame holding the phone upright with a charging cord plugged in. That is in Whataburger Cookie.
Co-host eating a cookie.
Whataburger Cookies, we're kind of getting a little highfalutin. We might get beat out for lowest budget. Look at that dog.
No, that's not true.
Look at that. I wish y'all could see Skeeter Bug. She is locked in on this cookie. It's been stealing her lunch money all week, dude.
Yeah, she don't know that this thing has death berries in it for dogs.
I don't think she knows. She didn't care.
Right.
She didn't care.
She said those are.
There's things that we all do in life that we know are bad for us. We just love them so much we do it anyway.
Just like voting liberal. People know they're wrong, they still do it.
Go ahead and send it. So anyways, man, please, guys, go ahead and hit that thumbs up for the return of the Fish Life Podcast. The lowest budget, actually live. That makes us L-ball, which makes y'all the low ballers. We really got to get on that merch.
Yeah, we do.
We've been talking about that for a while. We got to get on that merch. The low ballers merch. Thumbs up. Give us a comment if you want some low ballers merch.
Share this thing. Let's
go.
Yeah,
and share this. Please do share it. We need some help. Share. Sharing is caring in a modern world, folks. Get after it. Let's see here. Vic Pearsall called it the Biden sniffle. Cody May says, all I know is ain't me traveling with you. What the hell?
Is his name Dud Lake Fork Guide?
Yes. I dared him to do it. By golly, he did it. Let's say some hellos to the early rise. We got Justin Miner, Vic Pearsall, Casey Gaby, Lake Fork Guide, Cody Mays, Jason Long, James Clifton, Dusty Newton, Billy Snow, Gary Payne, Dusty Smith, Dick Hoskins. Got to be careful saying that one. Big L, Big John, I think that's the early risers with more of y'all coming in every second. Man, we appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Chris, break out the agenda. What's going on with the redneck science?
So
That's my category.
that's your deal.
That's my category. Mm-hmm. Train wreck already.
So I can give you a little insight on what I think's going on with the weather.
It's cold.
It's cold. Ain't nothing changed. Then another front come in.
Well, it finally got cold, right? Mm-hmm. Here's what I want everybody to keep in mind with that. Pay attention to where that water temperature gets to throughout the month of January. And it might dip down below that in February. It very well could. It did, certainly did last year with the snowmageddon. But outside of something that none of us have ever seen in our lifetime happening, last year the water temp would have never touched the 40s, not even close.
Right.
We're setting up the same this year. We stayed warm long into December till after Christmas. Finally, we've gotten cold now in January. But odds are we're going to have a few warming trend days, some over the second half of January.
Yeah.
We're going to have a couple little warming trends spells that are going to kind of make that water go back up, and then it'll drop back down some and go back, kind of do this deal, like it always does in January. But with the daylight period increasing, and when we hit those warm trends, those fish are really going to think pre-spawn, even as early as January around here. But B, pay attention to where that water temperature gets. Because here's what happens, guys. If that water temperature doesn't ever get down into the mid-40s and stay there for at least a little while, those fish never get set up in where the bulk of them are in real winter patterns. If that doesn't happen, it prolongs the spawn. And it makes the spawn overall tougher. It's more spread out. Mm-hmm. It makes it to where you can't just bust them. But if it does get cold and get our water down into the mid or even lower 40s and stay there for 3-4 weeks, say from the last week of January till the third week of February, we got water temps in the mid to low 40s. Guys, that will set up for dynamic spring because that will push every fish into a true winter, right? With it dropping like that, that'll back them out of that pre-spawn, push them down into winter stuff. And then when it warms up, they will all go and we will be able to decleat their butts for about a month or two.
That's right.
So you got to pay attention to those water temperature. Those trends are important. The trend's always more important than the raw temperature day to day. But overall, what the raw temperature gets to is super important for what's going to happen as the year unfolds. So you got to redneck science this week. Billy Ray's redneck science this week is the trend of what the water's doing. It can be 48, but if it was 42 2 days ago, that's going to dictate how you fish today.
Correct.
But for how the spring fishes overall, we need to know where it's going to bottom out. So start paying attention to that, because right now the water's only in the 50s. It's only in basically the mid-50s right now, even on the big lake, like Fort, it's in about the mid-50s. So even though we feel cold, the other day I was out there, it was about as cold as I've ever been on the water. It was in the 30s and broke into 40s barely, and the wind was blowing 20-something out of the north. I was getting wet from waves coming over the boat. Like, I was as cold as I've ever been on the lake the other day. That felt cold to me. But the water temp was like 55, 56, 57. It's not that cold.
Not that bad.
Not that cold at all. That's actually when we get that way in the fall at times. So, got to pay attention to those things.
I won't go into huge detail about this, but we fished a tournament yesterday, and leading up to this tournament, kind of what you were talking about, the trend of the water had dropped about 12 degrees.
And that affects how you fish that day.
In about a week and a half time frame. And so I had it in my mind, okay, like you said, we feel cold right now, but this is how we need to go about our business. And our pattern didn't work out well for us. I think we just missed it a little bit.
What happens a lot of times when you get 57-degree water, people are like, oh, that ain't that cold.
Right.
But if that water, see what happened on Fork was that water was all the way up, and even on the smaller lakes, I've been to some smaller lakes the last couple weeks, the water was all the way up at 70 degrees in the shallow water.
That's right.
Right around Christmas time. And then in a week and a half, it dropped as much as on the smaller lakes or in the backs of creeks, it's dropped as much as 20 degrees and got down to 50 in some of those areas. So some of that water has had as much of a 20-degree swing. Well, those fish are going to pull back out of there.
That's right.
Some of them are going to pull back out. Some of them are going to hunker down in the ditches and just not want to bite. You're going to have to fish very, very slow, very much wintertime patterns for those fish on that cool trend. But with that water at that 52, 53, if it trends back up to 58 or 60, well, hold on. Now we'll be cranking and doing our thing, and we'll catch them outside on the flats. So those trends are real important to pay attention to. But like I said, overall, how the year shapes out, where the temperature bottoms out at is important. If it never gets down into the 40s, guys, we're going to be set up for an early spawn. We're going to be set up for a spawn that starts as early as probably February.
And ends in May.
Anytime in February, and ends all the way in mid to late May. That's what we're going to be set up for. So you're talking about 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 months. You know, a third of the year will be spawning.
12% of the fish coming up each wave.
Yeah, exactly. Some of them may spawn more than once, you know, so it's going to be a kind of a funky deal like that. And when that happens, it's real important to, and we can sit here and talk spawn cycles and all this stuff. We can make a whole week-long episode of this deal. I mean, we can talk for days about this. But what'll typically happen is portions on the bigger lakes, portions of the lake will go.
Right.
So like in February, there'll be
Goes in,
little
like, sections.
You know, the far northern reaches where it gets warm first, they'll go in February. And then in March, you'll have some of that mid-lake region spawn. And then by the time we get to late March, early April, some of the South Lake will just have their first wave. And by that time, the second wave's making their way in up north, or the third wave's. So now, once the first wave's down on the south end, now you rotate back up and hit that next
You're
wave.
just ping-ponging.
And you go back down again until you're finishing up down on the south end and deeper into the lake in mid-May. And that's kind of how that cycle works. But
So that's Billy Ray's Redneck Science this week.
Billy Ray's Redneck Science, pretty in depth.
Pretty intuitive, yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
in depth. Seen pics of Wheeler hanging out on Fork today. Yeah, he was out there. I think they're about to go off limits here pretty soon, so he's getting some last minute practice in before they go off limits, because they do have a February tournament. We're actually going to talk about that here in a little while. Well, we're going to talk about the first tournaments anyway.
Yep.
Big John says 53 on my lake today. It was 67 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and that's Lake of the Pines. That's a big lake. So to change 14 degrees on Lake, I think Pines is bigger than Fork, isn't it? Acreage wise?
Yeah, it is.
Total water masses, and especially right now with Fork being low, it's definitely more acres than Fork, with Fork being low right now like it is. So that to have that big of a temperature swing in 2 weeks on a lake that big, man, that's something. Justin H is asking me, what graphs am I going to go with on my next boat? Man, I'm actually going to, weren't planning on talking about this, but we like to answer viewer questions when we can. I'm going to be that guy, dude. I'm going to be the guy that
Billy gonna look like a rolling Best Buy.
I'm gonna be the guy that I used to always make fun of. I'm gonna be him. I was the guy that was like these dudes that would have 2 graphs at the dash and big giant one on the front. I'm like, dude, well, of course.
To be fair,
in my defense, that's when we were looking at sonar.
sonar
And then down scan and side scan came in. Everybody had
Yeah.
2 graphs and had
That's
a
right.
huge one on the front. We weren't looking at as much stuff
Correct.
as we
Yeah.
are now. So, in my defense, but still at the console, I'm only looking at down scan, side scan, and sonar and a map.
Right.
And I'm gonna be that guy. The guy always maybe it's because I'm getting older. I can't see as good. I don't know. But I used to run a little 9-inch graph, and I'd run
Whatever makes you feel better about it, I'm with it.
a 4 split on a 9 or 10-inch screen and see it fine.
Oh, yeah.
Now I feel like I can't even see it on this 12-inch that I got. So I'm gonna run, and I'm doing this because it is developed where different brands, it's like specialties,
Yeah, they specialize in different things.
right?
And they're better than
Right.
just like I don't think as far as down scan and side scan, I don't think it gets better than Humminbird.
Humminbird is the best out there on downscan.
As far as sonar, I don't think it gets better than Lowrance.
Mapping. Sonar and mapping,
Yep.
Lowrance is the best. And when it comes to the live sonar, I think you could toss a coin between Garmin
I think they're both
and
good.
Lowrance,
Yeah.
and I think Hummingbird's a step behind them from what I've seen. Now, I have not seen a Humminbird in person. I've seen one in person, but I haven't like fished with it all day or anything like
Right.
that. So to be fair, I can't really judge Humminbird, but I think between Garmin and Lowrance, you can basically flip a coin. They're about the same.
But to your point, everybody's got something.
and then you got
that's better than
360.
the other. And then you got 360.
Hummingbird's the only one's got
Well, it's
360.
an anomaly for sure. Yeah.
So my graph setup, long way to answer this question. What my graph setup, what I intend on having is I intend on having a 12-inch Lowrance and a 12-inch Humminbird at my console. And I'm going to have my Lowrance is going to be strictly mapping and sonar. It'll never change. It'll be a 50-50 split mapping sonar. And my Humminbird will be a horizontal 50-50 or a vertical 50-50 split, and it will be down scan, side scan. And that's the only thing that graph will do at my console. That will be my console setup. On my bow, I'm going to have 3 graphs. I'm going to have a Humminbird up there that's just a 360, and that's all it's ever going to do. I'm going to have a 12-inch helix that's just a 360, just like I have now. I'm going to have a Lowrance that's just an active target screen, and that's the only thing it'll ever have on it.
9-inch or 12-inch.
Probably stay with. I'll do 2, and I'll want to do another 9-inch. So I have 3 up front. So I have 2 9-inch up front. So I have 9-inch Lowrance that's just a solid active target screen. Then I'll have a 9-inch Lowrance that is mapping and sonar up front, like on my trolling motor sonar.
Correct. Yeah.
Which I really don't need the trolling motor sonar anymore with live stuff. I don't need it per se,
Still nice to have for mapping purposes.
but I need the mapping.
For waypoints.
So what I found is when I try to split the live sonar and the mapping, I can't see
Yeah.
what I need to see. It's too small. My
Yeah, you
eyes
need a
aren't that
30-inch
good.
screen. Yeah.
My eyes aren't that good. So I want my live sonar to cover up that full 9-inch screen. On a 9-inch screen, I can see it. I don't need a 12-inch. On a 9-inch screen, I can see what I need to see, in my opinion, for me. Right now. Now, 3 or 4 or 5 more years, I may need a bigger screen. I may have a 20-inch screen up there to look at live sonar. But
Billy gonna have a boat that looks like it's wrapped in solar panels in about
Yeah.
10 years.
yeah. But right now, yeah. And so that's gonna be my setup. 2 Lowrance, 9-inch Lowrance up front, 1 for mapping and sonar, 1 for live, and then a Humminbird 360 up front for 360, and then 12-inch Lowrance for mapping and sonar at the console, 12-inch Lowrance for down inside at the console. So 5 graphs. I'm gonna have 5 graphs. I'm gonna be that guy that has 5 graphs.
So you're gonna have 2 birds and 3 Lowrance. He's gonna have to run about 16 batteries, Big John.
How many batteries are you running? Well, I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna talk to some guys. I actually may reach out to some guys. You know, the Bass Tank's really good about that stuff. And I've recently actually been messaging with John Sukup a little bit. I've actually the thought in my head, just to be straight up honest with you guys, I haven't talked to John about this. Haven't talked to anybody at the Bass Tank about this. But I'm actually probably gonna reach out to them for advice and may possibly have them rig up my electronics. We'll have that conversation. But
Not a bad way to go. They're the best at it, so I hear.
they seem to be really good at it. And it's all dudes that fish. It's ran by a bunch of dudes that are like tournament fishermen. Like they know what you need.
Right.
They know what needs to be done. So I'll tell you right now, I'm running a Humminbird 360, a Lowrance active target, and then just a Lowrance 12-inch at the console. With those 3 graphs and me being a guide, I really have not needed to wire my stuff separately.
Right.
I also learned a couple little sneaky tricks from Frank Talley when I was down there. And he said, man, take your main graph and turn your brightness down 2 notches. And then when you're not sitting there graphing, put your sonar and your downscan, side scan on standby. That'll save your battery power. So I've been running 360 and live sonar, Lowrance active target, on 1 regular old interstate cranking battery. I have not had to buy a lithium. I have not had to buy a separate, I have not had to rig it separately. I'm running my graphs the way I always have on 1 cranking battery.
So is this, to be clear, this is you running live all the time? Or active target?
I mean, I don't do it all day, every day.
But I'm saying
there's days, yes.
When you're fishing, and this is,
There's days where I run it all day.
and that little hack you just said saves to where you don't have to worry about battery.
But I'm not running 5 graphs.
Right, no, I understand. I'm
So
just,
next year when I step up and have more graphs,
right, you're probably gonna have to add a battery.
I'm gonna have to probably add a separate. What I'll need to do is just do maybe like a separate one directly for the front graphs.
like an inline.
Like just
to-
put a
yeah.
battery up front.
Yeah.
And rig it directly to my. But that's why I'm going to talk to guys like the guy. Like I'm probably going to talk to the Bass Tank guys. So I'm going to go with. I'm going to talk to them and get their advice and see what they think, and they're going to tell me what I need to do.
Right.
Because this is something I don't know. So
Right.
I'm going to have to figure it out.
You don't know what you don't know until you know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Billy Snow says they just did my boat there, top notch. I have no doubt. They have a great reputation. So for a boat that is loaded with electronics, how much would that be ballpark figure? Guys, the boat that I run is very expensive. So I'm fortunate to work with Skeeter and work with my boat dealer and get a really good deal on boats. So I don't pay this much. But the boat that I run right now with the 3 graphs on it, if you go in there and buy that boat off the street, you don't get any discounts or anything on it. It's about a $90,000 boat. It's like 80. It's like $90,000 boat. With 2 more graphs, it's going to be over 100. It's going to be $100,000 boat.
Yeah, because you can easily tack on 10 grand.
Now like I said, I'm fortunate, and I paid full price on mini Skeeters before
That's
I got
correct.
deals
I
on
was
them.
just fixing to say, to be fair.
And I promoted
Yeah.
Skeeter for them for free for years
That's
before
right.
I got that deal.
That's right.
But I did end up getting a deal where I get.
Second mortgage, that's funny. You ain't lying.
It's more expensive than the first house I bought.
Yeah.
My boats that I buy now are more expensive than the first house I bought. They are. Oh, this is just crazy, but it is what it is.
Yep. You gotta pay to play, as they say.
And the other thing that you got to look at for a guy like me is I'm not buying a $100,000 boat every year.
That's right.
That's not the reality. What I'm doing in practical purposes is I'm renting a boat.
That's right.
I make some payments on it for a year, and then I sell it. And because I'm fortunate enough to get a good deal on them, I can sell them for what I owe on them and pass a really good deal on to whoever buys them.
But what
they get a maxed out, pimped out boat that's rigged and ready by a guy that does it every day, and they don't pay near what they would if they went in there and tried to pay $90,000.
Well, what I will say too is having to turn around and sell that thing at the end of the year is not as easy as people might think.
Well, no, it's not. It's not easy to sell a $70,000 anything.
Right. Yeah. So
it's not easy to sell anything for $70,000, bro.
Right. No.
It's just, I mean, selling stuff. I mean, there's salesmen that sell stuff for $70,000 that only make a full, a dozen sales a year.
Yeah.
It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
I'm aware that that's not a realistic thing for most people to be able to go get and run. I'm aware of that. And I'm aware of how lucky I am to be in a situation where I can. Dusty Smith, I do not. But I have to order a boat. I've been kicking the can down the road on ordering a boat, and I have dropped the ball on that. I've got to order one. So if anybody wants to come to an agreement and come to a deal on this boat, we can do it, and I can order, and we can have an agreement where basically when my new boat comes in, you get this one. It's going to be a really good deal for a $90,000 boat. I think I'm going to be able to sell it for around 67. It's going to be maybe 68, something like that. So with all that live sonar, everything rigged up, it's tuned in, graphs dialed in, everything's ready to go. So who was that was asking? Dusty Smith. Yeah, if you're looking for one and you want a heck of a deal and you can afford to wait a little bit while my new one comes in, we can work a deal out, man. Addictions are never cheap. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Man,
we went off on a whole different deal, man. We went off a whole different. We went off script there for a little bit. Before we get any further, I want to mention that we normally do our seminars every other Friday. This Friday would be a seminar Friday at Lake Fort Marina where we do our free seminars. This week I won't be there. We won't have one this week. I will be at the Fun and Sun Tackle Show. Now, what I will say, I haven't talked to Mr. Monty, who runs that and organizes that deal for Fun and Sun, yet, but I'm going to. Last year, I was able to get up there and do a little seminar, but forget me doing a seminar. Guys, there's a bunch of dudes way better than me doing seminars all day, all night at Fun and Sun. So, Fun and Sun show starts this Friday. It goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be there Friday night only. I will not be able to be there Saturday. I got stuff with my kids on Saturday, so I got to come back Friday night, but I'll be there all day Friday. Come out, see us, hang out, look at some tackle. They've got the tackle that is displayed there. There's all kinds of booths there. There's all kinds of boats there if you want to look at boats. Speaking of, if you're in a market for a boat, great place to buy a Skeeter boat. And Fun and Sun can rig them up however you want them for sure. But come on out there. I don't know what the list of pros is. Typically, in the past, they sell Phoenix and Skeeter. So you'll have, unfortunately, he obviously won't be there this year. Passed away too early. Aaron Martins usually was there. Todd Faircloth is usually there.
Palaniuk usually
Hackney,
there.
Palaniuk. Man, there's a bunch of guys like that. Alton Jones, Senior and Junior. Bunch of guys show up to that deal, and they get up on that stage, and they share some really good knowledge, man. And we filmed some of that and posted it on the channel in the past. And, of course, I'm sure we will do the same this year. But no seminar this Friday, and maybe your boy. I might be up there doing a little talk about something or another on fishing. So come on out, hang out with us, do a little meet and greet with some of the best in the business, and have a good time. Fun and Sun. It's in Hurst, Texas.
Hurst. I will have to ask you, I'll have to ask a favor of you.
I'm not going to touch Brandon Palaniuk's butt for you.
No, I'm just telling you.
I know you want to touch
let
Brandon
him
Palaniuk's
know.
butt.
I want you to let him know that I didn't abandon him. You screwed me on that.
I stole him for the Angler of the Year pick.
Yes, let him know that.
Ominous Dominus, I'm picking first. I'll take you, boy.
Yeah.
I'm taking you, guy.
Yeah, just let him know. Just let him know, because obviously, this is probably the most popular podcast in the fishing game at this point, and so he obviously knows that went down, and I don't want him thinking that I abandoned him.
We ain't even been on the air. We ain't even been on the air.
Stop that.
How are we the most popular when we ain't even been putting it out?
Bro, it's so nice we had to do it twice. You know what I'm saying?
We did. We did start it, stop it, then do it again.
Yeah. So.
Smash Tech, Heath Taylor's online. He says he's going to be there. He will always be there. And I will be spend most of my time around his booth usually when I'm there. So.
Heath, I need to call you in the next couple of days and ask you a question, by the way. I'm glad you commented.
You didn't get any wildlife law issues, did you?
No. No,
Okay, well, that's
it's a bait question.
Okay.
It's a glide bait question.
Okay, well, that's good. So Fun and Sun's coming up. Now, let's talk about tournament season.
SZN.
It's begun. Tournament season has begun. Guys, in Texas and all across the South, as soon as you get past the holidays and hit New Year's,
It's ready.
bam, that's when the tournaments hit you. And they hit you quick, man.
It sure does.
BFLs, Bass Champs,
Media.
the Toyota Series, media, all of them, dude.
Yeah.
They all get cranked up in January around here. Man, it's going. There's tournaments. You'll see tournaments on Sam Rayburn every week.
Is
from
there
now till
is there a better state for amateur level tournaments than Texas? Other than maybe Alabama?
Alabama might be as good, but it's not better.
Right.
It's not better.
I'm just saying as far as
Here's what they don't have. They've got the Alabama Bass Trail, which also comes here at times.
correct. Yes.
Which that's a really good one. I mean, I don't know that you can even call that amateur.
Right.
Like that's really
pro-am.
Skeeter Bug has entered the chat. Skeeter Bug has entered the chat. Girl, you gotta get down. We're live. You silly goose. She wants to get up in her lap and talk to y'all. No, Alabama Bass Trail is. I mean, that's basically pro level. I mean, there's
Right.
big name guys that fish
Right.
that at times,
No doubt.
but there's big name guys that fish Bass Champs in Texas Team Trail. And what I was gonna say, they don't have a Bass Champs and a Texas Team Trail.
Right.
Those two, and now we've got this. Was it TTO Pro
Yeah,
Teams?
Team Trail Outdoors. Yeah.
TTO Pro Teams, dude, the money they're paying out, the guys that are fishing that, stupid. Like there's some serious cats doing that. So for high level, quote unquote, we'll refer to it as semi-amateur level tournament fishing because like you'll show up to Bass Champs and Todd Faircloth might be there.
Yeah.
And Todd Castledon's always there.
Alton Jones Jr. is notorious for fishing those.
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, these are the best in the world.
Yeah.
These are some of the best in the world. And they show up to these things.
Gary
So
Klein in Weatherford beating up on all them boys on Lake Weatherford.
I don't know that you can really even call them it. But yes, even at the true amateur level, the club, dude, the McKinney Bass Club,
They're good. Yes.
that's a great organization. And I don't mean to just signal that one out. I have several friends, or at least a few friends, that are still active in McKinney Bass Club. But there are bass clubs like that all over the state.
That's
I
right.
mean, all over the entire state of Texas. Media has regions all over the entire state of Texas. JC Outdoors does a great job. Like, man, we could go on and on and on. So, in my opinion, yes, Texas probably is the best place for amateur tournament bass fishing. And it's time, dude. These guys are going right now. All of them. Every one of them is either have a tournament this weekend, having one next weekend, or they're pre-fishing next weekend for one coming up the weekend after. Like,
Yeah.
they all have a tournament coming up.
I got to be honest with you. Last weekend was top 5 of most miserable conditions I've ever fished.
Yeah, and it's not just us. Even the guys at the highest level are about to
Yeah.
start. Speaking of that, let's roll into that.
You wanna roll it?
Let's do some
I get first pick this time.
first major tournaments of the year. We're going to look at Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour, and we're going to look at Bassmaster Elite Series.
So we'll do it
and
in
we're going to
order.
preview their first event.
So we'll do it in order since Bass Pro Tour comes first.
Yeah, let's do it in calendar order, chronological
We'll do
order,
Lake Darbone at Bussy Break.
And when are they going?
They are going February 5th through 10th. So
Which
this
which
is
you might be sitting here going, man, that's a month, dude. That's a month.
That's 3 weeks away.
bro. That's 3 weeks from Saturday.
that's 3 weeks away.
It's February 5th is 3 weeks from Saturday.
Like their off limits, I believe hits this week.
Probably, yeah. I mean,
That's
they
probably-
may have hit last week.
That's probably why we
'Cause
lose at Fork.
I think they're 30 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. 3 weeks from Saturday starts the MLF season. So 3 weeks is nothing. You guys know that. Flies by.
So this one is obviously to kind of predict these Bass Pro Tour events. It's a little bit different because there's so many factors involved. You know,
It is.
weights resetting, all fish count.
The guys that win it sometimes can be a little bit random. Because sometimes the guys that catch them the best throughout the whole day aren't the ones that win it.
Correct.
Because a guy may have caught them best the first 2 days and he doesn't catch them that good on the third day and he's out.
Yep.
Or he caught them best the first 3 days and then on the last day he stumbles a little bit and he
That's
doesn't
right.
win because the weights reset.
That's right.
So predicting winners in that can be challenging to say the least.
Correct. So I'm just double checking here, making sure that there's not any I'm assuming the minimum is going to be
2 pounds.
2 pounds.
2 pounds, yeah. It's going to be
So-
2 pounds. Then if they didn't make it 3 pounds on fork, they ain't going to do it. Anytime other than heavy hitters,
Right.
they ain't moving that minimum up.
Right.
And I think the 2 pound minimum is the deal. I think it's right.
Right.
I think it's good.
So
Lake Darbone,
let's
Caney Lake,
it's Caney Creek,
Darbone,
Darbone, and Bussy Break.
and Bussy Break. So just 3 North Louisiana smaller fisheries. I think all 3 of them, have grass.
Yeah, they all got grass.
I don't know those lakes. I definitely
There's-
don't know Bussy Break at all. I've heard of Caney and Darbone. I've heard they both have grass.
And I've gotten on.
And they both got big ones.
I've gotten on Google Earth and looked around a little bit. There's a ton of cypress trees.
It's
Of
North
course.
Louisiana, yeah.
So that's gonna open up that spinnerbait jig.
So we're gonna do yeah. It's gonna obviously be a pre-spawn and possibly what we were talking about earlier, redneck science, watching that weather. There might be some fish starting to spawn. Might be some
If not, knocking on the door.
dude. And if that's the case, if they're doing that deal, let me tell you something that's gonna play in this type of event: a Cinco, just old black and blue, 5-inch stick bait, weightless Texas rig. Look at those guys that are little daubers, drifting around here and there and yon.
Maybe a big spinnerbait with a big willow blade to slow it down.
Maybe a big spinner
I
bait.
don't know.
Yeah, where'd you learn that from?
I don't know.
Where'd you learn
I
that
don't
from?
know, man.
Where'd
I
you
don't
learn-
know.
Where'd you learn about that?
Yeah, I know a thing or two that I learned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Learned it back in Vietnam.
The one Vietnam.
Yeah, learned it back in Vietnam.
So
So I mean, yeah, it's going to be a pre-spawn, mostly pre-spawn.
maybe a
tournament.
black buzz bait if the warming trend's right.
If
I
it's
don't
real
know.
warm that week, boy, that could. Hey, don't tease me with a good time.
Hey.
Most likely, though, it's going to be cold.
Right.
Most likely, it's going to be cold, and you're going to see guys probably throwing a chatterbait in a trap.
Right. More than likely.
And maybe a spinnerbait, but probably a chatterbait in a trap is going to get the most bites in that tournament.
Okay. So what I want to do is, you want to do top 3 or top 5? You want to do 3?
Let's just do 3 picks apiece because we got to do
3
2
picks.
different ones. Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to go first?
I do want to go first.
Are you going to steal my pick like I stole your bass angler of your pick?
Probably.
Okay, who you going to pick?
Probably. I'm going to go with Jacob Wheeler.
Well, that's just easy.
Well, but let me explain why.
We know he's working. He's at Lake Fork today.
Well, let me
he's
explain
working
why.
already, guys.
Let me explain why. There was an oxbow reservoir that they fished in Louisiana
Okay.
years ago. I think it was 2 years ago.
Okay.
And he pulled away from the field rather quickly.
Yeah.
Because he keys into those type of fisheries
Okay.
extremely well,
Okay.
especially in the pre-spawn time.
Okay.
So that's why I feel pretty good about going Jacob Wheeler as my first pick.
He's so versatile and so
Yes.
dominant and so good. It's hard to not pick him in any event.
And once everybody caught on to what was going on in that particular tournament, he said, okay, everybody's doing that. Now I got all the offshore stuff to myself. Went and found something offshore and caught every fish in the lake.
I'm gonna go to a guy that is, I don't think gets enough credit for this. This is the guy that brought the chatterbait to the world.
Fair?
This guy brought the chatterbait to the world.
Fair?
Folks. He was winning so many tournaments in Florida before people really knew who he was. Like he was taking everybody's money, and because he was buddies with the guy that invented the chatterbait in Carolina, and he was the only guy throwing the chatterbait. He was just whooping everybody. That's Brian Thrift.
Yeah.
Brian Thrift. You don't think of Brian Thrift being synonymous with the chatterbait, but Brian Thrift is the reason the chatterbait is public.
Yeah, that's right.
He's the guy that brought it to the forefront. I think in shallow water lakes, that time of year, in my experience, there ain't nothing better to catch more and bigger fish than a chatterbait. In my experience, that time of year. You'll remember the guide tournaments we've had years back on Lake Fork, which longitude or latitude? Latitude or north and south, they on the same level as Lake
that's
Fork,
right.
guys.
Yeah.
As far as north and south
Longitude.
go, those lakes are on the same level as Lake Fork.
Yeah.
They're just east.
Yeah.
But they're high and low, they're the same.
That's right.
And so they're going to be in the same phase that Lake Fork tends to be more than likely as the year goes on. Those guide tournaments were always the first Saturday in February. Every year. What usually played a big role in that? A chatterbait or a trap. Most guys were catching their fish on a chatterbait or a trap. I finished top 5 3 years in a row in that thing on a chatterbait or a trap. Like it plays that time of year.
And then if you need a random big and you got hours to go get it, you can go drag it jig around a little bit if you need to.
That's right. There's still some of those. Yeah, absolutely. So, and that's where these shallow water Louisiana lakes, which I believe they're shallow water. I don't know them that well. I don't think they're going to have that. And I don't think in every fish count format you play that game. that jig deal out deeper in a creek bend ain't coming into play when you're trying to do every fish counts. I don't believe. So I'm taking Brian Thrift as my first pick.
Okay. You want to know my second? My second pick, since you brought up the chatterbait, and it's funny that you did.
Yeah, you gonna pick
because
Brett Hite?
this was my second pick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking B Hite.
Good pick. We've seen him do good early in the year down in Florida on the
right.
chatterbait.
That's right.
Not a bad pick.
Do you need this list?
No.
Okay.
I am going to take Keith O'Shea.
That's a solid pick.
Louisiana
don't
boy.
You think he knows anything about them ponds?
Local.
Yeah.
Local knowledge.
Yeah.
Local knowledge, and a guy that's just never the very best guy out there, but pretty consistently
In the
good.
hunt, yes.
And in this deal where you just got to survive, he might top 10 for me. He might not win a thing, but he probably going to top 10 because that's kind of what he does.
Yeah.
I'll take Keith O'Shea.
That's pretty solid.
And he's a great shallow water fisherman. Him and his aluminum rig going to get back in there real quiet where it warms up first and get after it. Mm-hmm. Who you got now?
Interesting. I'm gonna take a little. Ooh, that's tough. That's a good pick. You threw me off.
Well, you got to pick the first two rounds. So I'm going to pick first this round because I know
Go
my
ahead.
guys. Give
Go
you some time to think about it. There was a Bassmaster Classic in Shreveport, Louisiana, which is real close to where they're going to be. Mm-hmm. And it was in a cold time of year. Mm-hmm. And another guy that has proven himself to be very versatile over the years and just get it done, Chris Lane. He won that Classic over there in the Red River about this time of year in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Cold water, muddy water, it didn't matter. He got it done. And if they do start to spawn it all, he's gonna be my favorite pick because he'll get that flipping stick out. He'll start daubing that Cinco around and flipping that cricket, and yeah, I like Chris Lane in this event. So I got Chris Lane, Keith O'Shea, and Brian Thrift. Who's your third pick?
I gotta go with Jeff Sprague.
Okay.
Good shallow water guy. Learned how to shallow water fish.
Knows how to- yeah.
On one of the toughest lakes to learn how to shallow water fish.
Knows how to do that pattern like we talked about earlier. Those patterns from Fork are going to translate to this event, I believe.
Yes. So that's.
And
my
he's
third.
from Lake Fork. For those that don't know, he used to guide on Lake Fork when I first started. Very, very good at all that stuff.
So I got Wheeler. I've got B Hite and Jeff Sprague.
Wheeler, Brett Hite, and Sprague versus Thrift, O'Shea, and Chris Lane.
I don't care who wins this deal. That's a pretty solid 6 picks.
What we need to know from you guys in the comments
Who won?
is whose picks are better, Brian Thrift, Keith O'Shea, Chris Lane, or Jacob Wheeler, Brett Hite. Who'd you just pick?
And Jeff Sprague.
And Jeff Sprague. Who got the better picks?
That's a pretty solid 6 picks if you ask me.
That is pretty solid. That's
We're
pretty
asking
solid. I feel
a
good.
lot. We're asking a lot of these guys. That's a tough pick. I
We
feel
ask,
pretty good about
listen,
mine.
they're capable of a lot because we ask a lot just getting them to listen to this crap.
That's also pretty factual stuff right there.
No doubt. No doubt.
So while we're waiting for some answers for that, we're gonna go to the BASS.
BASS. Big John, we got one vote for me.
Billy, you're
Why
DQ.
are you spelling my name like
You're
that?
DQ because you spelled his name
Why
like
are you
that.
spelling-
Actually, you know what? You're right, Big John. I like Billie Eilish's picks.
Oh my God.
Justin H, that's one of the best baits ever made.
That's a different bait than what you're thinking of.
Is it?
Yeah. You're thinking of the 140. He's talking about the 130.
Oh, he's talking about the 130.
Justin H, if it came out of the package a little stiff, where that hinges, file back that front corner of that front piece, and that'll open it up and let it swing a little freer. I have seen some of those come out of the package a little stiff where I've actually filed down that front joint to make it swing a little more. So,
This is the time of year to get that old glide bait a little bit of work.
yeah. If you like the old glide bait, it's right now. All right, how is BAS starting the year, my man?
They're starting off on St. John's River in Palatka, Florida.
February.
One of my favorite tournaments ever to watch just because it's such a crapshoot.
It is a crapshoot.
And it is very tough to predict.
It's visually appealing too, right?
Yes.
As a bass fisherman who watches fishing, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the discussion and seeing those guys get offshore on something and whack on them,
Yeah.
right? I enjoy watching Lee Livesey sit on a long shallow point and catch 42 pounds. Who wouldn't enjoy that?
Correct.
I enjoy Lake Falcon where they're deep cranking and dragging a
Right.
big worm and they catch 130 pounds. Who wouldn't like that?
But
Visual wise, when you're watching a bass fishing tournament, seeing a guy flip cypress trees, seeing a guy flip grass, pitch to visible cover, Rick Clun working a spinner bait through lily pads, the visual views, I'm not saying, not
Right.
articulating very well, but
right.
visually, this tournament is always very appealing to a bass fisherman, in my opinion, because you see what they're fishing and how they're fishing it. It's right there because it's Florida and everything's in a foot of water or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So very, very cool. I always enjoy watching the Florida tournaments, and especially this one. It's also one of the most diverse fisheries you'll find in Florida.
Yep. that's
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to Okeechobee,
got a little
man,
bit-
they're fishing all reed heads or they're fishing
Right.
all, grass flats. They're always fishing all the same thing. Here you might have, last year, Greg Hackney throwing at cypress knees. You got Brian New throwing at pad stems and, worn out, dead lily pad fields and
That's
stuff.
right.
Then you got Patrick Walters throwing at laydowns on his 360 and live scope. It has a little bit of everything on the St. Johns, whereas most of the Florida lakes are
Pretty much the same.
a bowl and
Yeah.
flat, and you're fishing flooded vegetation or under submergent vegetation is basically what you do in Florida in most of the lakes.
That's right.
Especially this time of year. But on the St. Johns,
It's a little
and it
different.
brings in current and it brings in different water conditions as far as color and everything else goes. I mean, the St. Johns is a wide open deal. You never know what you're gonna get.
I like one thing I like about the St. Johns too is it seems like the back of some of these creeks always plays no matter what time of year it is. So if you run into a situation where your fish kind of out off in the lake somewhere disappear, you can always run to the back of the creek and put something together.
Yeah. Well, so I get to pick first on this one.
Yeah,
right?
you do.
Okay, I get to pick
do.
first on this one.
God, I hope I steal your pick even though you get
Florida
first.
tournament. Florida tournament.
It's
Florida tournament.
I mean really, I already know my first pick, so as long as you don't steal it from me.
I mean, I want to pick all three of mine right now.
So I don't get none of them.
You get to, like, I pick three and then you pick three. We can't do that though. That's not
Okay,
fair.
it's not fair.
It's not fair. Not fair to do that.
No, this is still America.
Oh, and
Okay.
the problem is I like two of these three picks. I'm so high on that it's hard for me to pick which one I pick first because you probably gonna get the other one.
Right.
So which one? And with bass, it's a little more easier to pick who's gonna win
Correct.
because the weights carry over. I'm gonna tell you who I like, and it's a homer pick, total homer pick. Didn't do so great last year in Florida, but his rookie year, he came out of the gates firing in Florida. And I know what he's capable of in the cold, and I know what he's capable of in all weather. He's one of the best young guys, and he's won 2 events, and it's Lee.
You're
Lee,
right. Yeah.
Lee Livesey, man. He's a Florida strain bass. Yeah, he knows them.
A little bit.
Everybody, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Everybody that graduates from Lake Fork University and goes on to the highest tour level, Kelly Jordan, real good in Florida.
Yeah.
Always.
Mhm.
Still is. Takahiro Mori, real good in Florida.
Yeah.
Dean Rojas,
I mean,
the all-time single-day record is Dean Rojas in Florida, y'all. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody that comes from Florida, something about that Florida strain bass and the guys that target these giants at Fork on that versatile fishery that Lake Fork is, they're good in Florida.
yeah.
And so I like Lee in this event for all those reasons. He's a big fish hunter. I know how consistent, how versatile. He's going to be a guy that's easy to pick at any event, but in this event, I really like him.
That's good. That's a good pick. That was going to be part of my top 3 for sure.
All right, who you got?
I'm going to take Drew Cook, and there's a good reason for that.
He's good. I mean,
You
he's
look
good.
at every time he's fished a Florida tournament, he's top
Yeah.
10. Now,
He's
you're
good.
probably going to take my second pick, but that's okay. I wanted Drew Cook out of the
Well,
gate
it's
because
two,
that's a
it's
tough
two
one.
above him.
No, you got it.
Look at his days, the MLF, not the Bass Pro Tour, but look at his days.
The original MLF day.
The Summit Cup.
Yeah.
Look at what he did last year
Mm-hmm.
on the St. John's. You think about shallow water, versatile shallow water fishery. Man, is there anybody in the history of sport any better than Greg Hackney?
Tough to argue.
If you're going to give me a shallow water fishery that's a crapshoot, we don't know what we're going to do.
Right.
We don't know what we're going to face when we get to this body of water. We just know we're going to be fishing shallow. There's going to be abundant and a variety of shallow water cover, and that's all there is. Is there anybody better in the history of sport for that situation than Greg Hackney?
It's tough to argue.
I'm taking Greg Hackney. I don't think I even have to say anything else.
All right.
So I got Lee and I got Greg. Who you got?
I got Brandon Pollock.
I knew it.
Florida's one of the places that he has not tackled
To
yet.
me, he's got to survive Florida.
Correct.
And then the rest of this year sets up.
I think that as far as preparation going into this tournament, I think Brandon Pollock might have a little chip on his shoulder as Florida being one of the places that he doesn't typically do very well at.
Remind me, but when we get done with this, we got to talk about Brandon Pollock for a minute because I heard an interview with him the other day. I believe it was with Mercer, I think. But I heard an interview with him, and he said something during that interview that stuck with me that I really want to discuss with you.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned about my AOY pick, folks.
Really?
Yes. Yes, I am. And we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
So you've got Brandon, and you've got Drew Cook, and I've got Lee and Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to make it tough on me.
You're not going to go far enough down to get my next one.
Now you're going to make it a tough decision on me because there's several guys that I could pick in here. But... You know, what's that? You ride her till she bucks you, or you don't ride at all.
That's
Or
right.
I ride her till he bucks me, or I don't ride at all.
That's right. I gotta put
And
my
this
hat
guy,
backwards for this one.
when it comes to predictions, he doesn't buck me, man. He's so consistently good every stinking where in every stinking year.
Okay.
And he had a great event last year on this body of water as well. And he's a friend. He's a friend. He's a guy that I like and get along with really well. He, answers my text anytime I want him to. Just a really good dude. So I like pulling for him. Y'all know who it is if y'all watch this podcast. It's old P-Dub, baby.
P-Dub.
Patrick Walters. I'll take Lee, Greg, and Patrick at the St. John's and feel real good about it.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a wild card in there for you.
Okay.
John Cruz.
Okay.
He does
He's
well
good
in
in Florida. He does well in
Just
Florida.
saying, he ain't going to scare AOY, I don't think, but he might mess around
In
and
Florida and get you one.
be a top 5 and be
Yeah.
in contention.
All right. Well, same thing as the last time, guys. Y'all tell us who made the better picks. I've got Lee Livesey, Greg Hackney, Patrick Walters.
It's going to be tough to argue.
You've got Drew Cook, Brandon Polinick, and John Cruz. Yeah, I think.
As far as the eye test, yes.
Yeah.
But.
The general masses are going to say, but I don't dislike your picks.
No, yeah, no
I
doubt.
don't
I'm with
dislike
you.
your picks.
I'm with you.
But
That John Cruz threw you for the loop, didn't it?
I didn't expect that one.
Yeah.
That was not a name that was
Yeah.
on my mind
Yeah.
at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. Okay. We still got to bring my travel partner,
That's right.
my fishing travel partner in here a little bit and ask her anything.
Come on over here, not Cody Mays.
But no, before we do that, though, I want to talk about this Brandon Polinick deal.
Okay.
And we may have to discuss this for a minute.
Okay.
So, Brandon Polinick was doing an interview with Mercer, and Mercer asked him what's his goal or what goals or goal is for 2022. And he says what he always says, to win all 9 elite events. That's why that guy has been so deadly for so long and so consistently high up in Angler of the Year. That dude's, I mean, he's in. He's all in. But he followed it up with this. And I'm trying to remember here. So some of it, don't quote me. Some of these I may not say exactly like he said it. But basically what he said was, I don't feel as confident in saying that this year as I have in years past. Because to do that and mean that and really do that, you have to sacrifice so much. It's got to be the only thing you live for. It's got to consume everything. And basically what he said was he's getting to a point in his life where he's realized that he's missed some things.
He's about to get married.
And he wants to stop missing some of those things. He said, so I'm kind of finding more of a balance. And he's getting married. You know what usually comes after that? And he seems to be a really methodical, planned out guy. So he may not have kids for 10 years.
Right.
But a lot of times people get married, then they have kids.
Mm-hmm.
That certainly has seemed to be the path of a lot of professional fishermen. Show up and show out, rise to the top of the hill, stay there for a little while, and then they tail off because you do miss so much those years that you're going all in and being consistently dominant like that. It takes so much away from your personal life, your home life. You do miss a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So you see a lot of guys come up, get there, stay there, and then you get guys like KVD that he stayed there a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
but you talk to everybody and they're just like, dude, it's all mental. Like he just wants to beat us worse than we want to beat him. Like he just.
Yeah.
But as he's gotten older, he's tapered off too. As some kids get older, boy, things tug on your mind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mark my words with Jacob Wheeler, this ain't gonna last forever.
Right. No doubt.
Jacob Wheeler seems to be another one that's pretty obsessed and consumed with being the greatest, and he's gonna stay up there longer than most. But eventually, as his kids start to get older and he starts to continue to miss things, I'll be willing to bet we'll see Jacob Wheeler. I mean, nobody can stay at the top forever.
Right.
But hearing Brandon Palaniuk actually allude to that in that interview made me go, oh crap, it's the wrong year to pick him for Angler of the Year. I mean, just from a raw viewpoint perspective, like not trying to be hard. Listen, if Brandon Palaniuk is happy in life, that's at the end of the day, all that matters for each individual is you're happy in your life.
That's right.
And the reality is Brandon Palaniuk's fishing on the Bassmaster Elite Series, and he's one of the very best at it. He's very successful. So if he wants to dial back and enjoy life more, I'm extremely happy as a person to see him do that. As a guy who picked him for Angler of the Year, I didn't like hearing that.
Right.
Because I want that guy that's consumed with it.
I'll trade you for him.
There is yeah, I bet you would. Dude, you got such a bromance for him, it ain't even
Dude,
cool,
I'm
man.
a
You got the
huge
biggest
Brandon
man crush
Palaniuk
on
fan.
Paul.
I'm a huge Palaniuk fan.
I used to joke about Casey Ashley being a heck of a good-looking dude, you know.
Well, I've never said that about Brandon.
No,
So I
you
got that
haven't.
going
You
for
got
me.
that going for you. But your man crush on Brandon has far exceeded mine on Casey. That's for sure.
I will just challenge you to find a better overall person in the fishing world. I don't think you can.
Well, there's so many good guys in fishing.
Well, there is.
That's a hard thing to say. There's so many good guys that you don't know nothing about.
That's true.
But
That's true. I'm not saying
that's
that.
that's a hard thing to say. But
I
no,
may be mistaken.
he's up there. He's as good as they come.
He's 1%.
He's as good as they come.
Yeah.
Good guy, easy to pull for him. I agree with all that, 100%. But it did concern me. What do you think about hearing him say that?
Man, when it comes to people like him that have the drive, the work ethic, the willingness to give 110%, that's going to have to be something that I see before I buy into that.
There's a possibility that him finding balance in his life
It makes him better.
makes him better,
Yep.
makes him fresher,
Yep.
makes him not as fatigued
Because
mentally,
it's a lot easier.
and then he makes better decisions on tournament days.
It's a lot easier to process life whenever everything outside of whatever you're working at is going
Well,
smoother.
it's like anything, dude. And you know, baseball players don't all have the same batting stance.
Correct.
They don't all have. Some come up swinging the first pitch no matter
That's right.
what. Some come up and take the first pitch no
That's
matter
right.
what. Fishing is no different, man. There's guys that don't like Hackney. Doesn't even hardly practice. You know what I mean? Like Hackney doesn't really like practicing,
Right.
and thinks it doesn't do him any good. You know. And then there's guys like Wheeler that are practicing even when it ain't practice time, like he is today on Lake Fork. You know, it's different for everybody. So I think what probably in the end, the only person that knows what's right for Brandon Palaniuk obviously is Brandon Palaniuk.
That's right.
And if it brings more balance to his life, it actually could make him a better angler. And if Brandon Palaniuk gets any better than he already is, that's real scary.
A little bit, yeah, for everybody involved.
But it could take some of the edge off. We'll have to wait and see. And we got a great comment here. Somebody that obviously listened to the same podcast I did said he admitted he doesn't want to be selfish anymore. They talked about the word selfish a lot. He feels like he's been selfish in his pursuit of his career. So interesting though, isn't it? I didn't expect. It caught me off guard. I didn't expect to hear him say that. Because those guys that are the top, like they're usually just cold-blooded killers, man.
That's right.
So it caught me off guard. It kind of made me happy and proud for him as a person to hear him say that, but it caught me off guard.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
It would get it.
Go watch Mercer's podcast, Brandon Palaniuk. It was phenomenal. It was really good. A lot better than this one.
I'm gonna listen to it again on the way home.
Again, I knew you had listened to it. I knew you had listened to it. Yeah. Fishing is extremely selfish, even if you don't want it to be. You have to be on water. Absolutely.
No doubt. No
I
free
am
word.
fighting that battle from the guiding perspective these days with my kids. I went so hard for a few years to build a guide business, and now I've been able to schedule back a little bit where I can get involved with my kids coaching their soccer team, and I can do more things with them. But there's times when it makes me not as good as a fishing guide. As a fisherman, not as a guide. A guide's a little different, you know. But I'm not as sharp on the water at times because of the time I spend with my kids. And it's something that I've weighed, and I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, the pros,
For me,
yeah,
I'll take that.
the pros outweigh the cons for sure.
Yeah, the time with my kids, I
Yeah.
got one chance at that.
That's right.
And I still feel like I work as hard as any guy out there. So, I just used to work crazy. Like, the amount I used to work used to be crazy. So.
Yeah. No, I believe me. I'm seeing, like, I'm in a spot right now to where I don't have as much outside time to do certain things, and it's just one of those deals where you take the hickey early on, and maybe it alleviates.
Yeah. Well,
the
and
backside.
you're doing it right now before you have kids or anything,
Correct.
so
Yeah.
that's a good thing. It's a good thing. I think we got to move on. We got to talk to the world's best travel partner. Is she still here? Did she leave the building?
And her name is not Cody Mays. Cody Mays made a comment earlier about, well, I'm not your travel partner.
No, Mays ain't my travel partner. You got to lose your seat,
I
man.
know that. I'm about to
You
get
got to
it.
lose your seat.
Come on, and wait till y'all peep this shirt. She got a better shirt than I do. That shirt is straight thugging. That is gangster.
Coming in from the south side of the Year Lake
That's the
of,
west side.
of the Year Lake Fort. Yeah, coming in from the west side of the Year Lake Fort Guide, Casa. Check out this shirt, folks at home. Let's see if we can get a shot of that. Got a little Tupac flavor on the t-shirt. Let's get it.
Hey, did you know Tupac played the piano? Did you know that?
It doesn't. My son plays the piano.
Really?
Ty? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he plays piano.
All OGs play.
He's trying to learn how to play the guitar, but he plays the piano. So,
Guitar's a little frustrating.
for those that don't know, if you haven't seen her before, I'm sure most of you have. This is Miss Lainey McCoy.
Ask her anything.
We can ask her anything. So send the questions whenever y'all are ready. Ask her anything you want. This is my road dog. She goes on
I
the road
hate
with
that
me.
you keep calling me that.
She's my significant other. This is my
There you go.
girlfriend.
I was on Facebook about to change my relationship status.
That's fine.
Well, we all know everything that happens on Facebook matters more than anything else. So we got to be careful about that.
That's right.
It's all right.
Got to be careful about that. But yes, Miss Laney hangs out with me full time. She's
Hey.
here all the time.
Full time.
Don't change that until I can start commenting on Facebook again, because I'm banned right
Are
now.
you banned right now?
Yeah.
I'll make sure it's like public. That
Yeah.
way it says like Lainey McCoy,
Yeah.
single.
Yeah, there you go.
So I've got to give this lady credit. She has gone on a couple of fishing road trips with me now, and I don't know. I've never had that before, and I got to say it's awesome because we go out there and she's my biggest support system. She helps me with anything I ever need help with. She don't know nothing about fishing, but anything I need help with, she helps with, and just the positivity and the support that I get from her when I'm on the road is a huge deal. So I've never traveled with a significant other for fishing events or just buddies trips or anything like that. But now that I've done it, I'm just here to tell you guys, you're missing out if you ain't doing it. Because if you get the right one beside you, it makes the trip a whole lot easier, man. It does. Because you all know, maybe you don't know. A lot of you guys maybe just recreational fish, whatever. But if you're going to a tournament, or like me, when I'm not doing tournaments, I'm going to get content to promote my business, whether it's our app or guide business, whatever it may be. I'm going out there to promote a business. That makes fishing, which is supposed to be super relaxing, stressful at times. So to have somebody on the road to help deal with that and help make the trip easier has been a don't look at me like that. Don't look at me like that. It's been a great thing to have in a travel partner. Now I start to see why some of these guys, like Brandon, travels with his is it soon to be wife? I know they're engaged
Yeah,
at
fiance,
least. They haven't got married yet,
Yeah.
but he's been traveling with her for years. And there's a lot of guys that do it, and I understand it, man. I understand it. It definitely makes life a lot easier. So
Carl
I guess
Jochimson the same way.
I got to say thank you. So
Yeah, Carl Jochimson travels with his old lady
a lot
as well.
Swindle.
does.
Swindle.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of guys do. A lot of guys do.
It all makes sense.
So if you guys want to ask her anything, including what it's like being on the road to fishing trips with me,
Painful.
fire away. We got a question right now. What was your first job and how did it go?
Like actual job, like real life job.
Your first job.
My first job, I worked at Cavender's, in Palestine. How did it go?
She sold clothes to Cowboys. I bet it went pretty good. Or wannabe Cowboys at least.
I worked there for 2 years, and it was, I don't know. There was ups and downs, but there was a manager there. she's still there. She was just about like another mom. So
Well, that's good. So you liked it, didn't like it? Liked her, but didn't like the work?
yeah, I don't like to work much. So
The truth comes out.
It's funny that she says that because she works her butt off around here. Like around the house
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff, she's always doing
I
stuff.
love to clean. I like to do things
She
around
is
the
a
house.
clean freak, and she can't
But-
stand things and not be clean and tidy.
I mean, I was just,
Works out great for me. Works out great for me, guys.
but I was 16 at the time, so like,
Right. You didn't want to go to work.
and the only reason, like my parents didn't make me work. The only reason I wanted to was because I texted a friend and I was like, hey, what do I need to do to get a new pair of boots? He was like, well, just get a job. All right, so I started working there. But it was like no sitting down, always staying busy. And another assistant manager there, her name was Kelsey. Me and her we were close, and so we would like be talking. We would have to like hide talking because the cameras would see us and we would get in trouble.
You had to get in the blind spots of the camera.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's a lot like me. You know, it's important when you're in a relationship with someone to have things in common with them. And one thing maybe doesn't work the best all the time between me and her, but we do have this in common. Neither one of us really likes being told what to do, like at all. I'm self-employed, so I solve that problem. So I can imagine you probably don't like being told what to do at work.
Oh no. I've always felt like I've been like I should have like a management position, and no matter what I do, and it's always like, well, of course you have to start somewhere, but I
Right.
don't like to do that.
Right.
But no, I do what you tell me to do.
What?
Y'all heard it, folks.
Sometimes.
Come on now.
Sometimes.
Don't even act different.
Sometimes.
Exactly
What do you always say that I don't understand? Don't act brand new. I don't even know what that means, folks. But apparently I'm acting brand new. Isn't that what you say?
Yeah, you're acting brand new.
There we go. Big John says he tries to take a different one every trip. Oh,
He tries
man.
to, but
Merg says, what do you do for 8 hours during tournament? So when I'm out fishing all day, when I'm filming, a lot of times she'll get on the boat for at least half the day or something and just kind of hang out on the water, and she enjoys that. But like when I'm gone all day, you don't like it very much, do you?
I guess it depends on where we're at.
Yeah.
So when we were in
West Texas, OHIV.
well, at that point, I hated it because the Wi-Fi was awful. You know, it
Phone
was-
signal was non-existent pretty much.
So, I mean, I just really sat there. I did laundry. I cleaned the house. You know, we were staying with about 8 guys, and so
Yeah, we all had clean laundry when we got back.
I tried to keep it clean up
Dishes
there.
were clean. It was awesome.
Made sure they had lunch. But when we were at Frank's, I mean, that was fun because you know you and Frank were out fishing, and me and Frank's wife Christy, we
Yeah.
hung out, watched TV.
Yeah, we went to Tally. We were in his house, and his family was around. His wife was there all the time. His kids were over every day.
Prepared, you know.
That
dinner for y'all.
that dude's got maybe the coolest family I've ever seen. His
Yes.
kids come over like with their families like every day, and they all have dinner together. It is
Yeah,
one of the greatest family units I've ever seen, if not
Very,
the
very-
greatest family unit.
very
Frank,
blessed family.
yeah, and Frank's one of my favorite people, and it has nothing to do with fishing. Although he's great at fishing, obviously he's doing very well in the Elite Series. He's won an event. Like I love Frank
Just
because
great
of how he
people.
treated me and the example he sets as a man and a family man is unbelievable. So I'm proud to know him and call him a friend, no doubt, no doubt. Finesse Fisher said he's probably not successful with taking a different one every time.
The closest he gets to it is a different personality of mine each time.
I do get. It's like taking a different person every day.
You're right.
Every day, different personalities. That's right, baby.
Oh,
We tried to shut down the live stream. I hit the wrong button there, folks. When we shut down the live stream. Well, if y'all got any more questions for the princess, we call her Princess Laney around here. My kids like Star Wars, so this has been Princess Laney since she met them, pretty much. So, good stuff. Chris, do you want to ask Laney anything?
what
Get nervous.
do you color coordinate Billy's outfits when he goes fishing?
You mean the same 3 pairs of shorts?
So he's still,
I got
so
more
he's
than
still-
3.
So he still rocks the camo shorts?
Sometimes.
I
I got one
want,
pair.
I want
still.
everyone to know I got him about 5 pairs of shorts for Christmas.
Nice.
2 of them don't fit. So, you know, that's fine. But he still has 3 pairs that he just has not worn.
Haven't worn them yet. Well, it's been cold.
Mm-hmm.
Been cold.
Yeah. But No,
We've been wearing breeches when
I
we're fishing
have
here
tried to pack his clothes. You know, like I'll try to prepare his clothes for the next day. He's like, nope, do not touch my clothes. Yeah, so
lately. She does. She tries to coordinate my face. I'm like, nah, I'm a big boy. I'm gonna dress myself.
Does he look suave when he's out there? On the
No,
you know I love
No.
that outfit that he wears.
that one
Once a week.
outfit.
Yeah. It's the Billy Lawson special in the summertime. It's Crocs, camo shorts, and that white.
I haven't worn Crocs in years now, dude. I've been a flip flop guy for the last
Or
few
flip-flop.
years.
Hey, he's been laying off the camo shorts.
Has he?
I'm
It's-
pretty excited.
it's-
I've got
it's
some
the-
black, white, and gray shorts.
The black, well,
I've
that's
got the
ones he
blue like
wears.
water print real tree shorts,
Yeah.
and then I've got camo shorts. That's what I got.
He's been wearing the strap, like the black and white,
Black, white,
gray
gray
Hey, we
straps. He
we
wears
ought to
those
see
a
if we
lot.
can reach out to somebody to make him a cheetah print rain suit.
Cheetah print.
Man.
I'm gonna,
Funny you say that.
You're about to get kicked off this podcast forever. You're never coming back.
I'll see what I can do.
Y'all say bye to Chris. He's like Aaron Hernandez,
Let's go,
gone
Brandon.
forever.
Let's go, Brandon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Still hurts. It still hurts. No, not too soon. That's why I got banned on Facebook.
We probably just got banned off YouTube right now.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of, did y'all see who passed away?
Say Betty White.
No.
Say Betty White.
Don't. That's why you got kicked off. Bob Saget.
Yeah.
I didn't know
You
about
already knew
that.
that?
That is
Yeah.
sad.
Why didn't you tell me?
Because
Why didn't you tell me?
I'm so hurt by that.
We've got a.
Can we talk about how Bob Saget was one of the filthiest comedians of all time, and he
And
was on
then-
Full House?
and America's Funniest
And-
Video.
That's right.
Yes.
Wow.
And he was
America has come a long way.
dirty. So, Stock Scooter says, "Do you believe this for Laney? Do you believe in lure scents? And do you spike your lures like spike it? It's that chartreuse dip that stinks real bad.
Smells like
I
gold.
don't fish.
So do you think it works?
Do you think the lure scents make a difference?
Like making it smell different for fish.
Does that make the fish bite better if you use lure scents?
Does it make them hold on?
Does
to
the
it
way a
longer?
bait smells make a difference in how many bites you get?
Is this a trick question or
No,
is
it's
it?
a real question.
It's legit. This has been argued for years.
Personally, I would say yeah, because it's something new to the fish.
There you go. She's in on scents.
See, I'm of the thought process that it maybe makes them hold on to it a little bit longer, but I don't think it makes them bite more.
I don't think
Maybe
it's
not
a
bite
bad
more,
time.
but if it's new to them, they're gonna try it at least once.
So many baits these days are made with scents in them anyway.
That's true.
Really, to me, the only thing, from a technical standpoint, to me, I've thought about it a bunch.
Dipping the tail.
The only thing that matters is trying to keep your scent covered.
Correct.
So if your bait already comes with scent impregnated in it, that's going to confuse your scent for the fish. That's going to cover your scent.
Correct.
If not, you can spray some on it, some Bang or whatever you want to use, whatever brand you want to use. That will cover your scent. To me, it's just about getting your scent covered.
Correct.
On the bait, or at least masked to where you can confuse the fish and they don't know your smells there. Because we all have so many oils, we pick up so much stuff in our hands, fishing, we get dirty hands, it's about taking your scent off the bait, or at least confusing them.
That's what he just said.
There you go, busting outdoors is all over it. Then Jerry Bean says that I'm a lucky man. You're right, buddy. You nailed that one. Does Johnny Glass still guide on Lake Fork? Absolutely. Absolutely he does. Big John said it's easy to get a new one on every trip. It's easy when your standards are old enough to buy snuff and young enough not to have dirt in their face. Oh my God.
My Lord.
Big John is taking us in a whole new direction around here. I like it. I ain't even mad at him. Go ahead, Big John. You do you, big dog. Finesse Fishing is going fishing with me in 2 weeks. Man, I can't wait to fish with you either, bud. Do you believe in Bigfoot, Laney? And what's your biggest bass you've seen?
Do I believe in Bigfoot? Okay. No.
What? Seriously?
Seriously.
Do you know how many miles of uncharted land?
Now, if it was a question about water, like, do you believe in Nessie? Yeah.
Oh, you believe in Nessie but not Bigfoot? Okay. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Go
no,
ahead.
no, not
Scottish
necessarily-
sea dragon.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. No.
She's waiting to start fishing until we go target next.
So you think Lord of the Rings is real,
But when
but you don't believe in Bigfoot?
When it comes to like something on
What about-
land,
serious
on land,
Serious
no,
question.
something like that, no.
Serious
Like I
question.
don't believe in it.
What about extraterrestrial beings, aliens?
Now, It depends on what you say. Like,
But-
if you're thinking of aliens, like what you see in movies, you know, like a human form.
No. Do you think there's
absolutely not.
life on another planet anywhere in any galaxy outside of Earth?
Life,
100%
yes.
yes.
But like plant life is life. You know, there's different forms of life on. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you
you
believe there's
think there-
animals,
Yeah, there
any
you go.
type of life like
Depends on what
that?
you say, animals like bears, no, but like
Space bears.
What's wrong with
Like-
bears?
organisms, yes.
So you think there's living?
You think there's
organisms?
microorganisms on other planets, but not
Yes.
aliens?
Aliens
Somehow,
is like okay. The definition
Earth
of an
developed
alien.
life, but no other planet did. Other planets have life on them, but did not develop into life as we know it, or bigger life. But yet on Earth, it did develop into bigger life. That's what she believes. That was the only question. It was what she believes.
The Bigfoot thing threw me off.
Bigfoot, no, because they've already like
Seen them several times. Have videos of them. Yeah, I know.
when it comes to like something on land, no.
Man, I
mean,
watched
just
Harry and the
about-
Hendersons too. It ain't real, dog.
Right.
Just about all of the land is, I'd say all of the land has
Right.
been looked at. Now, when it comes to like the
no.
Amazon, don't get me wrong, there might
Even,
be a Bigfoot out
even in the
Amazon.
Pacific Northwest, Canada, there's
Uncharted.
plenty of places that have never seen a man.
Correct.
But where Bigfoot is, I'm pretty sure it's.
Pacific Northwest and Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not Oklahoma like everybody thinks. Like,
It ain't up there by Lake Caddo.
No.
Right.
It ain't over in
No.
Dangerfield.
Right.
Texas. They have Bigfoot signs in Dangerfield, Texas. I don't think there's a Bigfoot there.
I mean, allegedly.
I mean, there's some hairy rednecks that could confuse you on Friday night if you've been drinking
I
a
was
little
about
bit.
to say there might be some kind of human there that's like.
Yeah, like I'm
tricking
not
people.
talking about Kentucky blue people. I'm talking about like a legit. Bigfoot.
What did you just
The
say?
Kentucky blue people?
Kentucky blue people?
Oh, look it up. It's a real thing.
What is a blue people?
Look it up.
Oh,
I'll
my
look it up right now.
Folks, we got to look up Kentucky blue people.
I got it.
There was a second part to that question,
I got
though.
it.
What is the biggest bass you've seen, lady?
Like in real life, like face to face.
Would you look at that? The
Yeah.
first I typed in Kentucky,
I
and
don't
the
know.
first thing that popped up was Kentucky blue people.
Because you've searched it before.
I have not.
What's the biggest bass you've seen in real life, in person?
I don't know because I've only been on a boat, maybe even not on a boat. I've been fishing with my dad and with you,
Yeah.
so I don't even know what the biggest bass my dad has caught.
That you've
You know,
seen?
my dad was fishing back in the '80s, so like back in the '80s there weren't 14-pound bass or anything.
It was a Lake Fort, but
Well, Lake Fork when he was fishing was not necessarily a thing. It was,
the record was 86. The first state record of Lake Fork was in 86.
Yeah, but when my dad was fishing, he was fishing, with
Before
the
that?
whole ugly sticks and all that. So it was.
They're legit people.
Why are they blue?
It's a blood disorder.
Really?
Yeah.
We can't be talking about that though.
Sure, we can.
It's a
America.
genetic trait.
Yeah.
Wow. Never heard of that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do some more research.
so I
Maybe
don't
we'll
know.
cover that on next week's podcast.
The answer is I don't know. I don't know what the biggest bass is.
Okay.
Now the real.
All right.
yeah, okay.
What I think this is a question for Lainey. It might be somebody might seriously be asking me a question. I'm gonna let Lainey answer it. See if she can take a swing at this. It's a fishing question.
Okay.
What determines if you use a hard swim bait versus a soft swim bait?
So let me
Keep it clean.
let me get this straight. So
The answer
I'm
is not
not
the movie.
sure what the difference between.
A hard plastic or soft
That's
plastic?
what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I've seen you throw both. What determines? Well,
It's a real easy answer. You throw whichever one you think they'll bite better.
that's common sense with anything though.
You think Bigfoot would bite a soft swim
Oh my
bait or a
God.
hard swim bait?
Which one would Bigfoot grab a hold of?
If he
Hard.
was real. Hard?
I'm sure he's hungry. So.
I'm a big proponent of the soft swim bait myself.
I've always thought the same thing. When I've seen, like I don't know. I don't know anything about fishing, but if it were me,
It's more versatile. Now, as far as
now I've
realistic,
seen you throw a really big one, and I like a hard one. And I'm not doing that.
a lot of things
I just-
factor in for me. Water
Well-
clarity. If the water's super clear, I'm probably gonna throw a hard one because chances are the imitation of whatever it's trying
Line
to
through.
Well, yeah, a
Line through in clear water.
Yeah, line through in clear water. But I'm gonna throw more like a glide bait in clear water because for visual purposes, it just looks more realistic.
Get more realistic paint jobs.
Yes. And then shallower water, more vegetation, more things I gotta bring it through. I'm going soft and I'm rigging it weedless.
Yeah.
Just me personally. I'm
will
no
say-
expert.
Is the water on the way back up? Lake Fork has been dropped down to work on the dam, and Charles is asking, is the water on the way back up? No, it is. We haven't had any rain. There's been nothing to bring the water back up. So, no. The water's not going to come back up for a while in Lake Fork. It's over 6 foot low now. What's your favorite bait for January or winter fishing? Chris, I know me and you can probably both pick a jig on that.
Black and blue and orange.
Jig.
I started throwing that the other day, and I don't think it's quite cold enough. They weren't biting.
Well,
real good.
Lake Tyler's, I mean, where you were is not the greatest lake for that either.
True.
You don't have real good creek channel bends like we have on.
Can I go on record and say I hate Lake Tyler?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people do. What about you? What's your favorite winter bass fishing bait? Probably your cell phone and a big hoodie.
Probably a chatterbait.
He told you to say that. It's a good bait. It's a
I
good
will
bait.
say, I do like chatterbaits more. Listen, when we were out in West Texas and I was watching you and Cord fish, I was gaining some knowledge. And Cord likes chatterbaits. So,
I'm the chatterbait guy to me and Cord.
well, when y'all were fishing, Cord was like, give me the chatterbait that's going to chatter
Cord-
the most.
Cord was throwing a Cinco. I don't know what you're talking about. And a jig.
Maybe I'm wrong.
We have video footage to prove it.
Who would win in a tournament out of Billy and Cord?
Billy.
Stand by your man, baby. That's the right way to be.
That's a good answer.
Absolutely correct, folks. That's why I got her around. She's not only the best travel partner, she keeps your confidence sky high when sometimes there ain't no reason for it to be. It's what makes her the best fishing travel partner I could ever hope for. Chris, I think it's about time, man. We
Who
go
would
for
win in a fishing tournament, me or Billy?
Skeeter.
Billy.
Nice. Good answer. I was just testing.
Who would win in a fishing tournament, baby? Me or Brandon Polnick?
Oh, Brandon Pollock.
I don't
Hands.
know who he is.
Hands
So who's going to win?
You.
That's right, folks. You heard it here first. I can beat Brandon Polnick anytime I want to. Hey, man, thank you guys so much for watching as always. Babe, thank you for joining us for the Ask
Thanks for
Her
having me.
Anything segment. Christina, lean on in here. Do that thing you do.
Let's go, Brandon.